Tuning to Fire Radio, and you're listening to the show with your host, none other than Joby. And you're also waiting to let the messages. Feel the freshness. Listening to the best music. You're now listening to the best music. One piece at a time. Feel the freshness. What? Happy Friday. 7 minutes past the top of the hour. 28. Grand Rising. And you're listening to the Pan African English Show with your host, none other than Joby. Yes, Karibuni sana. Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing amazing today. Happy Friday. It's exactly 28 minutes past the top of the hour, and I hope your week has been fantastic. Welcome to yet another beautiful conversation right here on the media of the 21st century. My name is Joby to our first time listeners and returning listeners on YouTube, the radio station, Spreaker, Spotify, on the network, on Amazon, Roku TV. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Literally, we're coming to the end of August. The month has been super quick, literally super quick. The year has been super fast, but I hope you are keeping it healthy and keeping it black, literally. And I hope you are doing great and fulfilling everything that you've been wanting for this particular year. Karibuni sana once again. Wishing you guys a beautiful weekend, but welcome. As today we dive into the conversations of what is happening, of course, in our beautiful continent. We're gonna be looking at what is happening in Kenya today. We have people on the streets demonstrating because of the high taxes, especially the traders. These are actually goes back to the conversation I was having yesterday, when it comes to imports and everything, literally, and how we pay so much, bringing all these products or
so many things into our country, while these things actually can be easily be created or manufactured or produced right here in our beautiful countries. But yes, we're going to be looking at that. We have some protesters in the streets, and of course the police have been sent outside to demonstrate. Apparently this has been secretly been organized, and I didn't know, because waking up to this morning I saw some people saying that this was secretly being organized, and I didn't even know that we had demonstrations today in the sides of town. But apart from that, we're going to also be looking at, of course, the Africa exposure. We have this young man who actually gets very furious on how we have white people, every time they come to Africa, they expose nothing but the poverty. They never show the good side of our countries, the good side of our nature. They go to like places like Kibera, which actually most of the people have noticed and Kenyans have picked. Every time white people come into our country, the first thing they go is, or when they're vlogging, where they go first actually is Kibera, to showcase our the people, how they are living there, which actually, of course, we know this is exploitation for them to actually get numbers and benefit of these videos, but never giving actual benefit. He also talks about Mr. Beast, talks about other people who have come, of course, on the continent, and even Sakai, we had Sakai Jackson, who recently talked about, oh, she was in Kenya and we don't have mirrors. We don't even know how we look like. It's really, really crazy. So we're going to be looking at that as well. And so much coming from Kenya, man. I'm telling you, this is one of the countries I believe right now the white man is actually trying as much as they can to take control of everything, our mentality, our resources, everything. So we also have another bill. We're going to be talking about that, a bill that actually proposes that if someone dies, immediately they die, their blood, their cell and tissues, and even the organs are actually to be bought. So we're going to be looking and diving deeper into that, and how Ruto allegedly is doing this. So much also coming from, also in terms of religion. We're going to be looking at also how Kenya, every single month we have over 60 churches which are registered, while on this other end, actually let me share my screen, while we have this while is happening, while we're being indoctrinated by religion, other people are being killed, and this is what we're busy doing, praying. This is how we've been taken advantage of, and why so many churches are still being registered. We're going to be looking at all this idiotism of Christianity and so much more coming, also looking at Ruto, who exposes himself and the things he has not done. I love the way people are actually keeping him on top, because right now, of course, we're headed towards the campaign season. He's trying to prove himself to the people. So we have the young people who are bold enough, and in any room they get a chance to ask the question, they do. So I'll be sharing that particular video as we get to continue. But remember to also download our app, family, on the Google Play Store, in case you're not able to always stream with us on the YouTube channel every day, or rather on BitChute. You can always download our app on Amazon TV if you have Amazon TV, Roku TV, and also available on your phone. If you're an Android user, rather an iPhone user, you can use our website link. For the Android user, you can use the Google Play Store, where you can find us under Black Hot Fire Network. The name doesn't contain any spacing on the Google Play Store. Just write it, the words combined, and you'll see our fire logo sign over there, and requires you 0 cents literally for you to stay connected with us. So once you have that, you can explore the app, where you can be able to catch up with the news and updates of what is trending globally. We have also some supplements which you can keep yourself healthy with. I'll be sharing some of them as we get to start with our conversation for today. And apart from that, we also have an apparel store where you can grab yourself a t-shirt like mine. I'm wearing a Black Hot Fire t-shirt in pink, literally. I love me Black Hot Fire t-shirts, man, because they are good quality, man. I love me, no cap, literally. I love me Black Hot Fire t-shirts. They come in good quality, like the best quality. Like I think I have even the first Black Hot Fire t-shirt that I got from Spikes, man. It's even like, it's so old, but I still love that. So I really love it so much. I really love the t-shirt. So remember, you can also go to our apparel store and grab yourself a t-shirt just like mine. This one of mine contains a logo right here. You can see it. Let me show. Um, it has a logo right here on the hand, and it is written Black Hot Fire Network Foundation right here. So yes, remember, you can grab yourself one with different colors, different sizes. Mine, I don't know which size it is, but I love them large. I love them baggy because I love wearing them with different type of attires. So ensure you grab yourself also some. Apart from that, we have some beanies, some hoodies, different colors and sizes as well. But staying it and keeping it healthy, we have some vitamins, proteins, and so much more. So you grab yourself
Unlock
some.
your full potential with Brain and Focus,
So grab yourself some
a powerful
Focus
supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba omega-3.
Right. I guess it doesn't really want me to share actually with you guys, but I'll share the benefits of so much more as we get to continue with our conversation. But yes, as we get started, let me share this video here of this young Kenyan who's talking about, because when you're looking at this, you look at it, of course, on an African large perspective, not just actually Kenya. This is what white people or the white system might have been set up. And what white people actually have been doing for the longest time is just that right now, because we have internet, we have phones, we're exposed to seeing how the rest of the world actually kind of views us, despite us being here, is when we're catching up with what they've been doing. But back then, and for the longest time, we've been enabling them to actually film these images of us looking in the most fucked up ways, having kids nose, mucus drooling on their nose, kids with no pampers or no pants on, kids with no shoes, dirty, and all that, women just looking crazy, men looking crazy, and all those type of shits. Filming now, and yes, we do have poverty. I'm not denying that the fact that poverty is not there in Africa. We do, but the fact that we're catching up with this right now, that this is what they've been doing, it's not too late. We can do something about it. But what are we going to do about it while our top officials actually don't put some certain strict measures on when it comes to shout to Ibrahim Traore? Like Ibrahim Traore, literally, that's the example I'm using. Ibrahim Traore literally warned the NGOs and told the NGOs and even the rest of the people visiting his country, do not come to my country, and talked about the whole of the continent, filming videos or taking documents of vulnerable people in vulnerable situations. He addressed that. So I can't just do this as an individual. I can't do this with you as you guy on the screen. I can't do this with the 3 of you I see right now on my screen. I can't do the 10 of us or the 50 of us. This will have to actually be a very strict law coming from the top official. And in case, we should have, of course, people inspecting. If in case a tourist is in the country and is seen filming in areas that have been where it has been cancelled, should not be filmed, any advantage being taken off of the people living there, then consequences should be actually faced. Consequences should be faced. If not, all this is going to be bluffing. We're going to just be talking. But let me share what he's saying.
No problem.
Welcome to Nairobi, Kenya, everybody. Today, I'm visiting the largest slum in Africa, Kibera.
You see, foreigners have this habit of landing in Kenya.
Today, we are headed to Kibera, Africa's second largest slum.
They see the beauty from the airport all the way to the city, CBD, and they miss all of that and go into some remote village.
Exactly, because we really have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful areas of Kenya, man. Kenya is so beautiful. Kenya is so magical. So magical. Literally, it's called the magical Kenya. Yep, that's how it's called. Magical Kenya. Kenya is so magical. Like there's so many. Man, I was telling Keith personally, I can't wait to literally just start driving around, like, knowing my country specifically fast. I'm glad and I have the privilege to have gone to Tanzania. I feel like I know Tanzania more than I know Kenya, actually, being honest, because I know, being there, of course, back and forth. I know so many places. I'm so familiar with so many places. I've gone to even the deepest end of the country, of Dar es Salaam. So I think I'm so familiar with Dar es Salaam a lot. Of course, not all of it, but I feel like I'm more familiar, if you guys understand what I'm saying, right? But for Kenya, I feel like I've not really explored my country so much. Because tell me, I'm in Kenya, but I've gone to Mombasa only twice in my entire life. Why? Because also traveling us as African people, it is so hard. It has been made so expensive that even exploring your own country to relate with how different cultures, traditions work to stop with this tribalism mindset is not there. And that's why we're so divided, because we're kept in one place and close placed with a certain mentality and thinking everyone actually thinks just like you. You know, it's really crazy. Kenya is so beautiful. One of the beautiful places I hear people praise or talk about a lot is Nanyuki. I want to go to Nanyuki so bad. Like I remember there's a time I was supposed to go to Nanyuki, but I didn't go. Some of my friends tricked me and I didn't go. The person who was taking me got mad and all that. But yeah, I want to do it now. Me taking myself. I don't want anyone taking me. I want to take myself, go explore the waterfalls. You know, I want to go to Mombasa again a couple of times. I want to go to Marsabit. You know, I want to go to, what is it called? I want to go to the wildlife. I want to do the tourist wildlife thingy, you know, go have a hot air balloon, you know, just look at the animals and look at, man, our country is beautiful. What are you saying? Even when I'm going to the village, like on my dad's side, the western sides, man, one of my favorite places actually is Eldoret. Is it Eldoret or Nakuru? One of the two. Both. I like both. I like Nakuru because there's a lot of food, a lot of ambience. Eldoret was always cool, but I think Eldoret is good because I used to go there a lot for, like, you know, with my friends to just chill. But yeah, Kenya is beautiful. But these people don't show that. They pass all the beautiful places where there's beautiful houses, people living a decent lifestyle, to go only show our poverty. And it's a copy and paste in Africa. I'm not even talking about just that in Kenya. As much as I joke about Nigeria or being dusty and no green trees, that's not true. Nigeria is beautiful too. There are places, if you look at documents or videos of Nigeria, from the city to different places where people are living lavish in these mansions Nollywood used to fool us with. You think it's the whole of Nigeria. People are living lavish like that in mansions, you know. People are living good. Tanzania is beautiful. Oh my God. Africa is really beautiful. So it's crazy how now we're realizing this is what they have been doing.
So I am on my way to Kenya. Right now we are carrying water.
Throughout videos that go viral internationally, and then everyone thinks we don't have mirrors in our country.
Down there, mirrors are very expensive.
Imagine this. I don't want to be. I don't want to use insults. But this was very disrespectful. This was very, very disrespectful. I expect a white person to talk this nonsense. Being black, coming from America, you come to Africa, and the first thing when you go back to America, the first interview you land into, talking about your tour in Africa or Kenya, you're like, oh, people don't have mirrors there. Wait, what? What? Mirrors? Man, there's a place, personally, I even had to ask permission, and I'm looking forward to collect those mirrors. There's a place where I live, near where I live, there's like a mirror shop. So these people, like, they just throw some pieces, and sometimes they are like big, beautiful cut pieces. And I'm like, damn. So one day I had to go ask them, hey, can I pick some pieces here? I just create some art with them, or are you gonna charge me? They're like, no, just pick them, just ensure you don't leave them all over the place, just put them together the way they are. And I'm like, okay, cool. Mirrors are everywhere. The hell are you talking about? Mirrors.
A lot of people don't know what they look like.
Do you know how much money countries pump in to their marketing? Rwanda, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia.
Rwanda doesn't play about marketing their country, by the way. That's one of the countries I've seen is very, very serious about marketing itself. In terms of tourism, Rwanda has done really good.
They even use sports just to market their country. But in Kenya...
Please, can I have water?
This is where your students used to get
Please, can I have water?
Water from?
Yes.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, it's time for Kenya to step out of this poverty tourism mentality. Your story lazima change. Let's go back. Kenya has a...
Yeah, so this is, literally. It has to change for the whole of Africa, but it can't change if our very own politicians have enabled literally this, and they have enabled it actually, of course, from the political class. Number one, we have to understand, of course, this comes also from the political point of view. When you look at Macron, Trump, and the rest, all down the history, and so long as we continue with the same system, it's the same thing. Macron is here preaching about cooperation, collaboration, because he thinks, as they always all collectively think, and not think, but they have made us think we can't govern ourselves. You know, they must be in the picture for them to steal in the name of governing, because we can't govern ourselves. There's always been that poverty mindset or poverty mentality set when it comes to Africa and its people, the country, the development, its resources, its governance, everything, its schools, its hospital, the healthcare or health. White people have been literally the ones dictating our lives. And now the fact that we've been exposed now to the internet, well, shout out to us, it's not too late, but are we really, if we're to do this as a people, are we really willing to do this? And how many of us are willing to do this? Because we've also enabled them. Apart from politicians, we've also enabled them. It's just like the good example I keep using every now and then, right? Of saying, there's no, I'm in poverty, or let's say I'm going through something very, very crazy and it deserves attention, you know, the media attention, and the media attention should come with help. Then the media comes, or maybe some white people come in the name of helping, like they always come, you know. They come with their cameras, ask me questions, and of course I'm vulnerable. And I just want people to understand my story. I want to tell my story maybe to the world, to see people who resonate with me, for them to also get the help I'm also calling out for, you know. And since I'm getting the chance to be one of the people talking, why not? But if this happens more than now twice, and I've not received help, then this is a red flag. This is where you see the red flags. And you start understanding what these people are doing to you. They're using you for their numbers. They're using you to make money, but this money never comes to you. It never gets to you, never. So it's really, really crazy. So this is all of the African continent. It's nothing to do with Kenya. And on the comment section, people say even content creators literally are also doing this. Actually, even content creators are doing it literally. Some people, it's crazy. Just taking advantage. Even Africans, we've started doing that, taking advantage of each other, just because we know the people who own these platforms like when you showcase this side of your life as a Black person. It's really, really crazy. Or where you come from, it's crazy, and will continue being taken advantage of. Part of being taken advantage of course, we know when someone is dead, they're supposed to just, you know, the family is supposed to receive the body all put up together and all that. But Kenya has said no. Kenya has said no. So apparently there's a bill. Kenya has proposed a bill whereby blood cells, tissues, and organs sorry, let me read that again. Kenya proposed blood cells, tissue, and organs bill also addresses donation and retrieval of organs and tissue from deceased persons, but who gives consent and what happens after the death. So of course, if this is a bill being passed, this is coming again from the top officials. This is really organ trafficking that is happening here and been happening. Before I share that video, let me share this one of this guy explaining it, because it's been happening.
Over the years, Ruto has exported so many random things from Kenya. At one point, he did his best to send Gen Zs to the Middle East through his fictitious labor agreements that never worked out because of people getting detained or finding themselves at the front lines of Ukraine and Russia. And if you thought
a couple of times, even their hits,
that was the worst of the worst in terms of exports by this regime, then you're wrong. We are now measuring heavily on selling blood to other nations. I mean, since when did blood become a business? That's messed up. And the sad thing is that it's true. Just look at this export.
It's been a business. And that's why I'm saying Africans, we've had the fact of the information I have, we've we've been in the dark. You know, we've been in the dark. We've been in the dark for the longest time.
Data, and I quote, this is from WITS, World Integrated Trade Solution. And you can see here that our export to the world is 58,854 kilograms of blood. It goes on to break it down, how much we exported to Ethiopia, that's 167, Tanzania 70, Ghana 58, US 57, and so on and so forth. So this is a business. We have been selling blood at a bei kwa hapa ya trade value. $552 per kilogram. So you can do the math, ujue hiyo ni pesa ngapi mtu fulani ama watu fulani waliingiza. Now this is let us look at some of the reasons why this scandal is not just like any other. This is the worst of the worst. And so with no further ado, let's get after it. Number one, for the past 1 year, the president's daughter Charlene Ruto has been championing for blood donations nationwide. And that's
so this was an alleged. Yeah, but we continue.
Not just me saying it. Just have a look at this tweet, for instance. This is from Shola Ad. Here is something even more interesting. Earlier today, I exposed that some people and institutions exported 4,892 kilograms of Kenyan human blood and blood fractions in 2024, equivalent to roughly 9,000 to 11,000 blood donations. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. In that same year, Charlene Ruto ran a nationwide blood donation campaign for months, with Kenyans being mobilized across the country to donate blood to save lives. It was heavily covered by the media. And now we know blood and blood-related products left the country through export. And while all this was happening, hospitals across Kenya were still reporting shortages, with families being told to look for donors themselves. The exporters reportedly made over 20 million from those exports. And that's what is officially captured in some documents. What about the ones hidden in documents that aren't public? And I did do my research. It's true. Charlene was the ambassador wa Kusanya Damu hii Kenya last year. It's on Google. You can check it. Or Bing, if you're a fan of Bing for that matter. So every now and then ukipata text, oh, might you be O negative, mtu wetu wako na shida, we need a donation. It's because some people wanasanya damu, wanaenda kuuza. A proper investigation needs to be done. Starting na hii Mama Lucy ya Gaucho, na hizi zingine zote. Damu yote mumekuwa mkisanya, ilienda wapi? Kama mlisanya 50 kilograms, ilitumika kwa nani, nani na nani? And we counter check. Otherwise, this is a business. This is a very lucrative business that otherwise no one would have looked into. It's the same way kuna wazungu huko nje pia ni wakora. Wanasanya nguo, wanasema they are donating to Africa. Inakuja kama bail, watu wanauziwa Gikomba. Please don't treat our blood as equivalent of nguo ya Gikomba. Mnaenda kuuza huko nje na mnasanya for free. That is fraud. The second most sickening part about this is the fact that the most targeted people are comrades. When I was in university in those days, each semester ukienda darasa unaona a small truck pale with medics. Unafanyiwa HIV test, wanasanya damu. Unafanyiwa HIV test,
Yeah, so they have been doing this for the longest time in the name of caring about our health or us caring about other people. It's crazy. Listen.
There is a bill coming for the dead. Hii ni mwecheche. This particular bill is actually called the Kenya Blood, Cell, Tissue and Organ Bill, whereby if a person stays at the mortuary for more than 6 months without his or her body being claimed, the cells of that person, the tissues and the organs can be taken away. Skizeni hii ya damu, blood donation to be free and voluntary unless under innovative approach. Alafu kuna hii ingine hapa, living non-related people can donate organs and donors can be paid for loss of earnings, justifiable expenses and technical fees. Hapa ndio tumefikia wa Kenya. I'm literally unajua.
Exactly. So someone says on the comments, so they are literally legalizing the same thing they have been doing illegally because it's been happening. You know, it's been exactly. Remember the Shakahola and the Medihill Hospital. Exactly. Because the Shakahola whole thing where we had over 500-600 bodies being retrieved in the name of a church telling people to pray and fast. And then there were organs missing of children, women and men. But all the president said is condolences. I'll never forget. He said condolences. These pastors are still walking scot-free, preaching and lying to people, which we're getting to actually why we have so many churches being registered. It should be an alarm. This has been happening. It's not anything that is new. It's been happening, literally.
Kitu inanishangaza, who is this person who tabled this particular bill, and what was he or she thinking mpaka akaamua kutable such a bill? Alafu, just my simple thoughts or my simple thinkings, abductions zitakuwa mingi because mtu akiabductiwa akikufa.
Exactly. This is going to increase the number of abduction cases in this country. If you criticize the government, they go torture you, kill you, and of course, do the same thing they're doing. This is really, 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 really bad, man. This is really bad. This is bad. Kenya is not going in a good position as a country. We're not going in a good position as a country in the name of just benefiting white people. Because who are these organs again being sold to? We know who they're being sold to. Who's this, our blood? Who's this blood being sold to? It goes back to the conversation we're just having on Wednesday or Tuesday. This is super crazy. And just looking at that, we have nearly 60 new churches are always registered monthly in Kenya. New government records from the Office of the Attorney General shows this particular case. They're saying the Attorney General Dorcas Odor has raised concern over the growing number of churches seeking registration in Kenya, saying her office processes nearly 60 applications each month. Why are you approving? That's the question number one. These are the same people who are actually now about to actually fine people for noise pollution. So if you're trying to actually curb noise pollution, the first thing you should do is reduce this, you should not allow these people or the processing of these applications. You should deny them. You should not give them the go ahead of now, yes, you can set up a church, you can pollute noise how you want. And the fact that this happens actually mostly in residential areas. We have so many churches where they don't belong, where they're not supposed to be, always making noise. A good example is just outside here, the studio. Setting up just speakers and making noise for everyone as if everyone wants to listen to the same bullshit. It's really, really, it's crazy. If you want to curb actually noise pollution, and you mean it, because churches are one among the ones that are going to be fined for noise pollution, you should not allow these applications to be processed. They're saying, speaking at the Katiba Day panel, which we're going to share a video of Ruto also talking at the Kenyatta International Convention Center on Thursday, Odor said that says the registration figures are worrying given the frequent leadership disputes reported within some religious organization. She says church election can trigger serious conflicts, with some disputes becoming violent and prompting churches to seek legal advice over leadership, finances, and governance. And remember, the current regime banned some people in a certain church. How sure are we if that land grabbing was not led to lack of support? Because these politicians also use these churches for support, allegedly. Kenya has thousands of registered churches, with government tightening registration requirements in recent years. Really, applications are required to provide documents including theological qualification, certificates, and good conduct, tax compliance documents, identification, and KRA pins. The government also established a task force in 2023 to review the regulations of religious organizations following the Shakahola deaths, where more than 400 people to 600 died after following teachings associated with Pastor Paul Mackenzie, who is walking scot-free and still preaching. The government has since pursued stronger oversight of the religious organization amid concerns over abuses and extremist teachings. Really, yeah. Yeah. Business opportunity. Shout out to the first comment. Someone says that. Someone says this is the only business that works in Kenya. And in Africa, this has been the only business that works in Africa, sadly, to make people come to you, give you money without you begging or advertising. Literally, you don't need to advertise yourself. I have a church here. Just put the goddamn speaker, be loud as hell, and you're good to go. And figure out how to lie to people you're a prophet. It's crazy. And yet let them be convinced that the kidnappings happening or the killings happening in their country is because of religion, just like in Nigeria. There's a video going viral of how I'd say religion is being mocked, because they're saying Christians in Nigeria continue to cry out and pray as many are being unalived because of their faith. So the question is, for how long will you continue praying? And let me share this video of this guy very quickly.
Logic. Please scroll as well, because what I'm about to say will not massage your religious ego. You will bruise it instead. You will confront the spell under which you live. Let's get one thing straight. Prayer doesn't change nations. People do. Systems do. Leadership does. Education does. And until we Africans understand that, we'll keep kneeling while the world keep building. Aren't you tired of watching the continent with the most prayer warriors languishing in abject poverty?
Exactly. Imagine 60 churches monthly. So we have churches more than we have industrial development, manufacturing companies. We have churches more than we have what should be working in these countries. We have churches more than roads. We have churches more than schools. Imagine, we have churches more than factories. An approval of churches should be in different 60 churches. Are you kidding me? In a month. So this is Kenya. I can imagine Nigeria. In a population of over 200, like, come on. I can just try imagining Nigeria. How I don't even fathom. And for them, probably it's even the mosque and the church, because we have the Christians and the Muslims. So there's that battle of who's maybe which one is the best, who prays the most while you're being killed.
Aren't you tired of binding imaginary demons while our real enemies, poverty, illiteracy, corruption, and tribalism, walk free? My mother lives in a crescent about 600 meters long, and in that 600 meters, there are 3 churches, not a single school, not a clinic, not a drainage system. We are overchurched and underdeveloped. You fast, pray, cast, and bind and wait for miracles, while nations that don't even believe in your God are sending rockets to space. America didn't become a superpower by prayers. They built systems, embraced education, invested in science, and created policies. The Middle East didn't become rich through night vigil. They mastered oil, trade, and geopolitics. They invested in infrastructure and innovation. And China, they don't know Jesus. They don't know Muhammad. They know strategy. They know discipline. They know nation building. But here we are, Africa, the most prayerful continent on the surface of the earth, but the least developed. If prayers alone changed people and nations, Africans will be the richest and Africa will be heaven on earth. So let's stop pretending for a minute. The modern African church has become a business center, selling you oils, promises, and fear while you hand over your bank account. You don't need deliverance. You need discipline. You don't need prophecy. You need productivity. You don't need another 40-day fast. You need a 40-year plan. We have the Congo Basin, the second largest forest in the world, but yet we import toothpick. If that doesn't tell you the level of our sheepishness, nothing else will. So instead of building another church, build a school. Instead of going to another Bible or theological school, go to a technical school or learn a trade. Instead of giving your last money to a pastor, save it and start a small business. Instead of waiting for divine connections, go out, network, and build real ones. Instead of praying for good leaders, start voting with your brain, not your religion or tribe. Instead of casting out demons, start casting out ignorance, because God isn't the problem. You are. He gave you hands to walk, not just to clap. A brain to think, not just to bow. A voice to speak truth, not just to scream amen and hallelujah. So here's the truth. Faith without sense is continued slavery. Religion without reason is mental colonization. And any spirituality that makes you passive while others build, it's not divine, it's a trap. I'm not asking you to abandon your faith, even though I may not share the same. I'm saying stop using it to excuse laziness, stupidity, and silence.
True. Literally, because that's what it's doing. That is what exactly it is doing. But yeah, this is really, really shady.
But I have a prayer, heal our Lord, Jesus. We are filled, but we are crying. Our heart is bleeding. Somebody who comes from somewhere want to claim what is his own, and people are supporting. Father, we trust in you. We have no father, no mother, but we have you as our Lord and our King. And at the mention of the name of Jesus Christ, every name.
Yeah, so copy and paste again in Africa. But as we continue, just to look at also what is happening, more news from Kenya. I want to share this video of Ruto's yesterday's speech, and where the people were trying to hold him accountable, and he couldn't give us proper answer, and at the same time cooked himself. So let's share this as we look at the demonstrations that are happening today.
So back to my question, sir.
I will come to your question. I just want
to phrase it again.
Yes.
So that we don't lose track of what we are saying.
The Kenya Constitution turned 16 this week. However, President Ruto used the moment to explain why breaking it shouldn't worry anyone.
Your Excellency, you swore to obey, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of Kenya. Are you aware, sir, that your cabinet is unconstitutional?
You see, Katiba Day was meant to be a moment of national reflection. 16 years of constitutional progress, a chance to measure how far the country had come. Instead, it turned into one of President Ruto's biggest setups in his tenure.
Accountability also requires us to confront difficult moments in our recent national life.
First, he was asked whether he was aware that his cabinet was unconstitutional despite promising to uphold the constitution during his swearing in. Of course, Ruto didn't deny it. He acknowledged it outright and immediately dodged by reminding Kenyans to focus on affordable housing, SHA, and other shiny developments he is bringing.
Your Excellency, you swore to obey, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of Kenya. Are you aware, sir, that your cabinet is unconstitutional?
Thank you very much, Eric. I am fully aware that the court has made a determination and given me time to realizing that that is work in progress to be able to do what I need to do. But in that context, let me speak to my oath of office in a broader context. And I would want to put it in this context. Number one, I made commitments about how to transform the nation and what I need to do. And I made proposals to the people of Kenya that this is how I intend to stabilize the economy. This is how I intend to make sure that we have access to health getting to the majority of citizens. This is how I intend to work on making sure that there is decent housing as it's required by the Constitution.
These houses, nobody can afford them. No one is affording them. We had a video exposing there's no one living in these houses, and the people who are living there, they have bought these houses as Airbnbs. No one can afford these houses, and those are rich people with money. Not everyone has money.
This is how education that is provided for as an obligation to government in the Constitution, this is what we are going to do. This is how we are going to work on access to water and all the other requirements of the Constitution. And I can confidently...
When the panel is clearly not satisfied with being redirected to a housing estate, pushed further, pointing out that Ruto had appointed more than 2/3 of his cabinet from same gender, a direct constitutional violation, Ruto offered what might be the most creative grading system in recent Kenyan political history. According to him, no commitment ever gets achieved 100%. And he had achieved at least 80% of his commitment. So to him, that is a pass mark already.
Today, your cabinet is unconstitutionally composed of the requirement not more than 2/3 of the same gender. I just want to seek, because the issue here is constitutional accountability, Your Excellency.
Correct.
So in that regard, because this sends a strong signal to the rest of the Republic, what is your answer to that? Why is the cabinet unconstitutional? What are you going to do about it? There is a court order that has not been vacated by any other court that has given you until the 28th of October to reconstitute your cabinet.
Correct. Precisely what I'm telling you is, in the context of commitments that you make, you may not necessarily get 100%, but you can get 80%. In your estimation, have you passed that exam or did you not pass? If the commitments you made, you have achieved 80%. There are some commitments that are work in progress.
It is the political equivalent of being on the operating table for open heart surgery, only for the surgeon to stop at the 80% mark, wash his hands and tell you to head home and forget about the remaining 20%. And when you point out that your chest is still open, he gestures towards the hallway and tells you to focus on the shiny doors of the hospital, and they admire the fact that it is a state-of-the-art facility. That is exactly how President Ruto is treating the Constitution. He is building the shiny doors of development, the houses, the roads, the skyscrapers, while completely neglecting the life-saving safety of the law.
But what I was trying to point to you is that of the commitments I made to the people of Kenya, commitments on the economy, commitments on education, commitments on agriculture, commitments on housing, commitments on making sure we control our debt, commitments on making sure that we have universal health coverage, I can confidently say we are at 80%.
See, the problem is that in heart surgery and in democracy, that final 20% is the only part that actually keeps the patient alive.
Distinguishes to each institution of state.
For many Kenyans, none of this came as a surprise. Ruto's complicated relationship with the Constitution didn't start in office. It started back in 2010 when he served as the lead spokesperson of the No campaign opposing the very document Kenya eventually adopted.
Unabadilisha msimamo yako kama vipengele ile ulikuwa na shida nayo imebadilika. Sasa kama ulipiga kura no 2005, piga kura no 2010.
Roughly 67% of voters disagreed with him at that time. Now, 16 years later, Ruto is finally in the driver's seat of a vehicle he once tried to vandalize. It is like putting a man who hates broccoli in charge of a vegan restaurant. You don't need to be a food critic to know that eventually he is going to stop following the menu, ban the broccoli and every vegetable available, and lock the doors from the inside. And Kenyans have witnessed that pattern well into his presidency. Almost immediately after taking office, Ruto created the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, a role widely considered unconstitutional, complete with its own government payroll. Not long after, he established the offices of presidential advisors, which was also declared unconstitutional by the courts in January 2026. Perhaps no chapter in Ruto's constitutional relationship is more chilling, literally and figuratively, than the post-June 2024 protest crackdown. When young Kenyans exercised their constitutionally guaranteed right to protest, the government's response was to deploy officers in unmarked vehicles wearing balaclavas.
Just like today.
Protesters were abducted, some were tortured, and unfortunately, some were killed. Then, in a moment that will live long in Kenya's political memory, President Ruto stepped before cameras and labeled protesters criminals, while his political allies publicly issued shoot-to-kill orders against citizens exercising rights enshrined in the very constitution Ruto had sworn to protect.
That the criminals who rained terror on innocent people and attempted to challenge our law enforcement deployments are still determined to continue with their dangerous behavior.
Wakati jana umesema shoot but do not kill. I want to repeat it here. In fact, shoot and kill.
Which brings us back to Katiba Day 2026, where President Ruto offered Kenyans his most refined philosophical reframe yet. President Ruto wants you to focus on the 80% self-given pass mark and forget the 20%. But Kenyans, particularly the families of those abducted in the night, the gender advocates watching an unconstitutional cabinet operate unchallenged, the taxpayers who funded 21 illegal advisory officers, and the young protesters who bled on Kenyan streets for rights the Constitution explicitly guarantees, those Kenyans will continue to live inside that 20% that the president has graciously decided does not count.
I don't think that is fair to say for you to have passed, you must get 100%. I think what we are saying is, have we, in the collective assessment of the people of Kenya, have we kept our part of the bargain?
Because in a constitutional democracy, the supreme law of the land is not a buffet. You do not get to pile your plate high with parts you enjoy and wave dismissively at the parts that inconvenience you. The Constitution is not a suggestion. It is a law that 67% of Kenyans voted for, even when a young, ambitious Ruto told them not to. Perhaps that is the most poetic irony in this entire story. Yani, the Kenya people chose that constitution over Ruto's objections in 2010. And yet, 16 years later, they are still waiting for him to choose it too.
Yeah, literally. But he's busy changing everything in favor of him and the people he has appointed. It's really, really crazy. And just to fast forward and looking at today's demonstration, as we wind up with today's conversation, we had traders who are demonstrating today.
Karibu sana.
Karibu sana. Yeah, we had the CBD on lockdown earlier today as furious traders protested over the taxes. We had new taxes that were introduced. That was on the finance 2026-2027, 2026-2027. And I think I talked about it and we saw, which is part of what I was talking about yesterday, how we pay so much, importing. And majority is actually second-hand clothes. It's crazy how we're being taxed this high on second-hand.
Well, even Torre is shout to him doing the same thing they did with Rwanda. He said, no more of this junk that you given. We're not supposed to be wearing. Like they said, I think they said something in Kenya. I think they when Apple say, he said dead white man's clothes. They call it dead white man's clothes. So even Torre has banned all secondhand clothing coming to Africa, saying that Africans are not your dump site. We're not wear your old trash clothes that you're trying to get rid of. They make a profit off our dignity. So
Yeah, so many videos from other platforms also show how the police came out and started tear gassing people. And there were so many. So this was secretly just organized, just like the 2024 demonstration. It was not even publicly announced. I didn't know about it, but people turned out in plenty to demonstrate about the high taxes that traders are paying, and also in other stuffs. And you can see more other things that have been introduced. Pardon?
Was this today or yesterday?
Today. Yeah, so that is what is happening. And Ruto is not going to keep up with the lies, because next year is going to speak for itself. People are ready for revolution, if you ask me, and I'm looking forward to that. It's either he fights us or we fight him, but it's going to be us against him, literally, not him and the white people. It's us he's going to face. He should know that. It's us you're facing as Kenyans. You should be ready for that. So that being said, that has been my time this amazing morning, family. And have yourselves a beautiful rest part of your morning. Of course, I'll be coming back later with the Africa Today show. Shmani is not in. She had some family things to take care of. And I hope to see you guys, of course, here with her on Monday as we bring you the Rhythm Scoop show, which is always every Monday and Friday. But that being said, have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful morning. Thank you, Jiba Jaba, for joining. I see you were saying that Ruto has that liar's green, and says that the Muslim call to prayer every day shuts down.
Well, yeah, they call to prayer and all these, like I said, you see how Africa has been indoctrinated with white people's religion, nothing spiritual in it, and now they're more undeveloped, more docile, more fucked up, more churches and mosques all throughout this continent, where everybody's stealing and robbing from them, while they're the richest continent. And they even come together, this common sense, like, hey, something's wrong with these religions. As you do, China and other places don't have your group of religions, and they're 100 years ahead of you. So why is this guy chosen to do China and other countries better than you? And they don't worship Jesus or your goopy Allah. You know why? Because your gods are fake. And sadly enough, your leaders won't even take into account and actually educate you. They all indoctrinated. I think most of them don't know. To do as much cheating and robbing as they do, I think they all know it's all fake too. But they usually keep the power that the white man has gave them, so they keep control of their people. It's easy to educate a moron with the Bible or a Quran than to actually educate them. It's easier to control.
Yeah, but much love. Thank you so much, family, for joining. Have yourselves a beautiful rest part of your morning.
Hey, Joe.